Welcome and thank you for watching my first official YouTube video, or at least that's the way I'm calling it. I do have a couple that I posted last year when I first got my K40 Plus from Omtech. Um, Hopefully this video will be a little better quality. It won't be by much, but it'll be a little better. Um, my name's William, and this is, again, welcome to the Faith Engraved channel. Don't mind the mess back there. Got a ton of stuff going on, but keep in mind I have a 12 by 20 workshop, and I got two lasers, a miter station, a planing station, a joiner, a shaper router, a bandsaw, drill press, big storage cabinet back there with a couple sanders on it. Where that blower motor is, that's going to be a part of the air cleaner that I'm about to build. It's going in that cut installation up there hanging from the ceiling. And where it's sitting, have a little 3018 desktop CNC coming next week that's going to fill that spot. So I'll have videos about it once I start playing with it. Yeah, today's video is going to be laser engraving ceramic tile. The reason I'm doing this is I ordered a can of metal marking spray to see if that will that I can get a good image on it on tile. I've been looking for easier application methods and a much easier cleanup. I've done a lot with Norton white tile, or the Norton paint method, and I've had good luck with it. And I've been playing with painting on the titanium dioxide, and you can get good quality with that, but not a lot of good detail, and there's a lot of it's tedious. Let's just put it that way. If you don't get a good even coat and a constant coat, all the research you've done is for nothing. I mean, if you put one layer on thicker than you did last time, then your settings are not going to work. So it's tedious, but I do like the darker results you get from it. But enough of that. Let's get some tile prepped and see what we can make. All right, I didn't plan on doing a voiceover, but my audio quality was horrible. So we're going to try it this route. But first thing you do on anything, it doesn't matter what method you're using, is clean your tile good. Denatured alcohol is probably the best thing to use for tile for various reasons. One, it evaporates real quick. It cleans it good. Works. It's about the only thing to use with the titanium dioxide. Plus, the back side of your tile is very porous, and if you use something like acetone or paint thinner, which would do the job, but it will soak into that tile, and you'll smell it for a long time. So if you're making a piece to give to somebody or to sell, it's not something you want to sell along with it. Bear in mind, each one of these have a different wait time. The paint method is you're going to have to paint it long before you plan on working with it. I like to batch them out, which I'm painting this one, but I actually have some that have been pre-painted for months, and that's what we're actually going to be burning on, but I still wanted to show how I painted it. The tricky is you want to make sure that it's very clean and that you get an even coat. And I try to only do one coat, two at the most, because anytime you add extra, you're changing your power, and you're going to have to basically redo all your research on speed and power settings. And it's very important to get it all the way from end to end. That's why I got a good inch and a half overhang. All right, this is the titanium dioxide, which is suspended in denatured alcohol. Now, you want it to be thin. Now, the thing is, it's a solid. It's not going to dissolve in the alcohol. But you don't want a paste either. So I should have give you a good look inside the jar. As you can tell, there's not a whole lot in there, but the bulk of it settles at the bottom, and I just dip in for each stroke so I can try to get only one stroke. Now, if you can tell from the jar, it's got kind of a bluish tint to it. That's because I put some blue metallic flake in there just so I can see, because that titanium dioxide is extremely white. It's just as white as a tile, and it's hard to tell if you got a coat on it. So with that flake in there, you get a good look at it. And I really don't think it's going to show on camera. The marking spray, I mean, it's pretty easy. It goes on like spray paint. You just got to hold it back a little bit because it will ripple up and it won't level out. It'll just be that way. And that's something I noticed when I did my test grid, that on some of the settings it was only burning that layer and it was peeling up off the tile. The spray paint, that was Blossom White. I normally use Heirloom White, mainly because it's not completely white and you can see it on the tile. But I had a piece of a can and I didn't think that piece would spray an entire tile. So I went with the Blossom White. They both have the same amount of titanium dioxide in it. Now, the marking spray does not have any titanium dioxide in it. So that's one of the reasons I was hesitant that it's not going to work too well. And you'll see, honestly, it looks better on camera than it does in person. But let's get the image worked up. I use ImageR. I know a lot of people do, but I actually pay a yearly subscription so I can have it downloaded on my computer. Now, these tiles we're using are 6x6. Actual dimensions is 5.92. So I do it at 6 inches. That way, the whole surface of the tile is covered. We're not going to have any white edges on it. And you can do it either way. You can pick what you want and then resize, or I just cropped it out on this one as a 6x6 to speed up the process. And always go in and change your DPI on the ImageR side of it. You can do it in Lightburn, but if you do it in ImageR first, it normally 9 times out of 10 it'll transfer over, and I'm really bad about missing the little fine details, like making sure my settings are right, and then ruining a piece. So we'll save this, and we'll go over to Lightburn and get it set up. So when we get into Lightburn, you'll see that I do things a little different than most videos that you've seen. I don't like fighting to line up my piece. So in both my lasers, I have a k40 Omtech Plus and I have a P20 diode. So in both of them, I have a piece of plywood that covers my entire laser bed on my honeycomb, and it's affixed to the honeycomb, and then I cut out my work bed. So I have 4 corners that I can work a project from. Now I have a 2-inch spacer here for 2 reasons. To um, for overscan and the fact that it lines it up and is closer to the camera and you get a better view of it. As you can see here, you can see my plywood cutout. And look, this thing's worked for me for a long time. I just do my tool path of the material size, set it in whichever corner I'm going to be working from, and then roll with it. If I have to work, move it out a little bit because of overscan, then I have my jigs. And I can start a project in no time. And I'm not worried about if it's going to be lined up. It works. It's been working for me for a long time. As you can tell, it's not actually hitting the tile yet. That's because of the 6 inches versus that 5.92. Now this is the marking spray, and you can tell that it is rather dark, which is technically it's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to give a good dark image on metal using the CO2 laser. But just watching this, I didn't think I was going to like this method. I showed it to my daughter, and she thought it was the funniest thing in the world. She said, "I look funny." Yeah, baby, you do. So it is a powder spray, so it's pretty easy to clean. You just wipe it. So what I did is I just wiped it down real good with a shop towel, and then I come back over it with the denatured alcohol and get all the little particles off. And from this, I mean, it looks fairly decent, except for the real dark spots and the rub off. And that's the big difference between this spray and the 2 other methods. Is it's not welded to the tile like titanium dioxide will. I mean, I can take something and rub everything off. I mean, granted, it probably won't get all of it off, but enough to ruin an image if you were doing this for an order for a sale. But through the camera, it don't look bad. But I'll have a picture thrown up here in a second, and you'll get a closer look at it, better look at it. When you get in close, it it doesn't look good. It is not something I try to sell somebody. Which I'm sure with a lot of tweaking and trial and error, you can get a good image from it. But the fact that it will wear off is a no-go for me. My cute daughters. All right, so this is going to be the titanium dioxide brush on. I can already see where I messed up and rubbed some off with my finger. But I like this method, but it is tedious. As you can tell, I had to restart because I knew that it wasn't going to hold. It wasn't hot enough, so I had to increase my speed. And I only put 1 coat of it on here. But putting this one in, as well as the marking spray, you got to be careful to try not to touch it because it will rub off. And that being said, too, if you have air assist, you don't need it on because it will blow. Especially with this, the marking spray probably wouldn't because it adheres pretty good. But this titanium dioxide, it'll blow it right off, and you're just wasting your time. I mean, it looks decent until you wipe it off. So same thing, it's dry cloth, rub it all off, and then go back over it. But as you can see, most of the detail left with the titanium dioxide. So I should have probably upped the power a little more or slowed it down a bit. And I did another one right after this. I didn't show the burn of it, but I'll show you the wipe off. But that's the thing with the titanium dioxide. Every piece is different, and it's all about how you apply the titanium dioxide. And I've just seen people try to use a airbrush gun and say this is the second one. I mean, half of it looks good, but the other half and the streaks. And again, it's all how you apply it. And I got a little paint gun to try to spray it, but it's so thick it clogs up, and then it spits it out. And if you have a raised piece on it, it's not gonna burn into the tile. It's not gonna weld itself to the tile. So I have a love-hate relationship with this. And like I said, I've done pieces that were decent. It's not something I would have sold, and just for the difficulties of getting everything right. See, I mean, you wouldn't pay somebody for that, would you? Now, a good one, I'm about to pop it up real quick. I did one back earlier in the year when I came back from our conference. And see, that turned out decent. You got the lines at the top and stuff, but I mean, it wasn't half bad. I still wouldn't sell that one. So this is the Norton paint method, and it's by far my favorite when it comes to the outcome. Your end result is great. It's just that I hate waiting at least a day, and sometimes 2 days, depending on the humidity of your environment, for the paint to dry fully. And then the cleaning it off. I'd rather sand than clean paint off a tile. But you can't argue with the results of it. And this was run 60 speed, 60 power. That's before cleaning. And it looks pretty good right there. And then after cleaning. I mean, all the detail. I mean, you can't argue with those results. But it sucks to clean. Again, y'all, thanks for watching. I know it's not the best video on YouTube. I have my issues, but it's like being a kid again. I just learned to crawl. Hopefully, in a little while, I'll learn to walk and maybe take off running a little after that. But if you want to follow me on this journey, like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Also, if you've done a lot of tile, man, comment pictures of what you've done. I like to see other people's work, and if you've had good luck with different methods, I'd like to know that too, because I'm always trying to improve my craft. And images is something I love to do, whether it's on wood, tile. As, like I said, that's why I pay for ImageR, because it's nice to have it installed on your computer and you can pull it up anytime. Plus, my shop's detached and internet connection's not always that great. But again, thank y'all for watching. One more thing, I know I mentioned some speed and power settings in here. Don't go by what I say. Always run test grids, do material tests on anything that you put in your laser, because, for instance, my k40 Plus, I have it limited in light burn to where it only runs 75% max power. So if I'm running something at 50%, that's going to be 25% less than your 50%. Well, not that much, but you get the drift. It's not running at the power if somebody's got it running, everything set at its limit. So always run test grids. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll have more stuff coming. And hopefully better equipment so it'll sound better.